Since its creation, XM's taxpayer subsidy has grown exponentially to a whopping $140 billion cap. As the national debt continues to climb over $18 trillion, many fear that these taxpayer-backed loan guarantees put taxpayer dollars at significant risk and raise concern that the XM is looming towards yet another bailout that the American people simply cannot afford.
It is troubling when you answer the way that you do, when you've got somebody like myself who's trying to make up a decision on reauthorization, and the lack of transparency, the lack of willingness to come before oversight is troubling to me and quite frankly more troubling to the American people on Main Street who don't understand why you would not submit to transcribed interviews under oath.
Ms. Waters did give you some legal advice that you have the right to decline a transcribed interview. I would also remind you that members of Congress have the right to factor that in as they determine whether or not to reauthorize this bank. And before I yield to my friend from South Carolina, I want to ask you about something else. In a letter that you wrote to Chairman Henserling, you said that you made redactions to protect the candid exchanges of views by the bank's board members. And I'm curious what legal privilege entitles you to make that redaction.
It's one of the reasons that we focus so closely on these supposed discussions with the folks overseas about getting out of the aircraft financing business is the data that was been provided to us by Mrs. Giannopoulos. I read your reports. I've got your reports. I read your testimony, which is pretty much a cut and paste of your last report, and yet we have data, real data that says, if we can get up on the screen, that the bank's exposure to the aircraft market has gone up, not down. It's the dark blue at the bottom. It's not going down. You're measuring it in such a way where I think you can fill out a piece of paper that says you're doing what you're supposed to do, but the real data indicates that the exact opposite is happening.
And when's the next indictment coming?
There's a possibility that there will be future indictments. In this particular case, there's a possibility there will be future indictments.
Whoa. So wait a minute. So I want to know, that's a big statement. You think there's a possibility of future indictments in the Gutierrez case or in some of the other 31 cases?
Both.
Both? Well, that's important information for this committee and this Congress to understand.